With Cubing at Home Season 2.3 a little less than 2 weeks out, I wanted to spend some time going through all the events that are lined up for it, which are 3x3 Skewb, 4x4 Clock, Megaminx, and Pyraminx. So today I will be solving each of those in a set of 5 to just see how my times are. All of this footage is sped up a bit so that it's not super boring for you to watch. I'll just be doing some light commentary on top. For 3x3, I have not been focused very heavily on actually speeding up my times, and instead most of my practice has been learning how to solve with the yellow cross first, and thanks to Danny Yee's fairly recent video, also how to do keyhole inserts where if a corner or side piece that's needed for the F2L layer is already in the correct place, how to put its either corner or edge in without messing that up, which ideally saves you moves because you're not having to remove that piece, pair it, and then place it again. But for right now at least, that has meant that I am quite a bit slower at actually doing that solve method. Part of that is because instead of just moving straight from the cross into F2L, I have to take a second to kind of look at the cube really quick and see, is there a opportunity for that? Hopefully, as I'm learning it better, I will be able to see that while solving the cross instead of after it's finished. But at least right now, it's taking me a little bit of time. And so I do a couple of solves here. Yeah, like I said, 5. My average is not great across all of them, but I was able to do a couple keyhole inserts, and I solved a yellow cross, I think at least once or twice, and did not have a super slow time because of it. It definitely didn't impede me. I definitely should have warmed up before doing this, before jumping on camera for it. I probably should have done a couple solves on all of these first, but I was really excited to do this video, and so I just went ahead and jumped straight in. But overall, I've been pretty happy with my progress. I'm getting much better at being able to do either white or yellow, which has given me a lot of flexibility in terms of the times. I can solve at least for 2 faces, depending on whether either the white or yellow is easiest to solve first, or as I'm getting better at those, which one will give me the best F2L setup from the start. I'm going to lose a little bit of speed as I'm learning things. That's expected. But hopefully within the next week and a half or 2 weeks, I can kind of shore some of that up and start focusing on speed again. So for this set, from the most recent to the oldest, you can see I have a couple that are very long, even over a minute, and so my average is around 45 seconds, which is still better than the first competition that I did for Cubing at Home, but much worse than the 38-second average I got in last month's. So moving on to Skewb. I have really not practiced Skewb much since the last event, and I think that was part of Cubing at Home Season 2.1. It's mostly just sledgehammers and learning how to turn it better. So at least for a little bit of the past month, I was practicing how to pull the sledgehammer off on the Skewb a little bit more seamlessly, where I wasn't using both hands as much, but I was able to kind of use one hand to get all of those motions in. I'm still not good at doing the reverse, and so I'm still having to turn the cube around for a couple of these steps. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks, that's something that I can kind of figure out so I can learn how to do it forward and backwards so that I'm not having to turn the cube all that much. If I can do that, I think my times will be cut down quite a bit, but after that, the big thing I need to focus on is my inspection. It's still very hard for me to anticipate how my turns and placement of some pieces are going to affect the rest of the Skewb. And I know that just comes a little bit with practice, and so I just need to dedicate a little bit more time to practicing with the Skewb. I'm very happy that I settled on the Gon though. I had going back and forth between the Moyu and the Gon previously, partially because I liked the concave centers of the Moyu, but the Gon's magnets are strong enough that I don't feel like I need that. I'm able to work with the flat sides and not have the cube kind of like deform on me as I'm doing my turns. So I'm settled pretty much on the Gon cube. I really want to try maybe another one. There's the Wingy by X-Man Designs, where it's not concave in the center caps, but the entire face of each side, including the edges, is a little bit concave. I'd really like to see how that feels. But overall, I didn't get great times, but I didn't get awful times. It's something that I definitely need to focus on a little bit more. 34-second average isn't awesome, but like I said, we've got a week and a half, so I just need to dedicate some time to that, just to shake off the dust, or the rust maybe. One of them that's a new one that I haven't really competed in before, and that I'm still learning how to do the parodies on, is the 4x4. As I'm learning this, I've been trying to up my speed and monitor that a little bit. My average is somewhere around like the mid 3-minute area, which is pretty awful for speed solving a 4x4, especially if my average on 3x3 is like 30 something seconds. So it's definitely a place where I can get some major gains if I can dedicate some time to it. Thanks to one of the Jack 3 Blind videos where he talked about how to use Anki to kind of drill repetition and learn things better, I've started to use that for my 4x4 and 5x5 training. The 5x5 is a lot easier. There's basically 2 algs that I just have to figure out how to solve for to make it work for the reduction method at least. Otherwise, there's not really a parity that happens on the 5x5. So the 4x4 is where I'm struggling more. I'm pretty good at the OLL parity. I think that I more or less have that one down. And I tend to get the either adjacent sides, so like the left and front, or the opposite sides, so like front and back parity, most often for the PLL. So I'm focusing my energies on those kind of 3 parity cases and how to learn them. The other ones that I need to learn are substantially longer, and I've been having a harder time like breaking it into piecemeal chunks and learning it. So it's definitely something that I need to work on. Right now I'm using the MGC, which is like the fairly full-size 4x4. I also have been using the YJ Mini for a lot of practice as well. I like the mini size quite a bit. It's nice and easy to hold. It's very light. The magnet strength is great. It turns like a dream. But I've found that the MGC is a little bit nicer feeling. I don't know what it is about it. This extra size doesn't really bother me as much as I thought it would. The quality of it's great, and I really, really enjoy solving on it. As you probably have seen here in this set, though, I DNF'd 2 of them. One of them is in progress right now. I blame this one on Marley kind of interrupting me. I messed up an alg and just kind of abandoned it. So the 3-minute times are the ones that I actually solved, and the like 5 and other 5 I think are the ones that I bailed on and just took a DNF. And I will finish solving that later, but it's definitely one that I need to practice on, and if I'm going to actually compete in it, I need to drop my time probably by at least half. So I may skip that event in the next one. Next up is clock, and this is using the new Qi magnetic clock, which is a dream to turn. It's just really excellent. I really haven't tried other clocks, but from the reviews and demo videos I've seen of other people using them, they don't work anywhere near as well as this, especially with all of the like setup, lubing, etc. that you kind of have to do to make them more usable. Similar to the Skewb, I really haven't solved the clock a whole lot since the last time I competed in it, which was, I think, in February for 2.1. So that's something that, I figured at the time I got some okay times. It wasn't super difficult to learn, and so I just kind of let it sit on my desk and be a nice thing to look at. And then during these solves, all of a sudden my time was substantially longer because I haven't practiced. Surprise, surprise. So the big thing that my brain kind of forgot is on the white side and dark side, is it the pins up or down that control which ones move or are locked. But I think the last solves, I had fully figured it back out. But again, that's something that I probably should have messed with before I started doing the solves and recording the video. But I was very excited to just kind of jump in and get this rolling. And yeah, didn't do my due diligence beforehand. Consensus still is that I really like Clock. It's a fun event. Based on the recording angle that I'm using now, it's at least a little bit easier for you to watch. You can kind of see how I'm manipulating the faces with this above angle versus the GoPro angle. So I feel like that helps a lot in terms of watchability. So as I practice more, I may do a few more solve videos of the clock and kind of walk through a little bit of how I'm learning it and getting better at look ahead and inspection times, because those are both going to be big ones for me. Generally what I do is I start with one face that's the easiest to match the center to, and then go clockwise or counterclockwise around to match it all up until having to do the corners on the dark side, and then I just find which one I'm going to start with and go from there. But yeah, my times, these are about twice as long as what they were at my last event, if not much worse. So I need to get some practice in for sure. Clock is an event that I have a lot of fun with, and so I need to do better at it. Megaminx, I'm not going to solve because it takes me anywhere between like 10 to 20 minutes. And this video would be super, super long if that was the case. And even though I enjoy solving Megaminx, it's a lot of fun, I just am not fast at it at all. And so that's something I have to work on. But I'm kind of putting that on the back plate. I'm solving Megaminx for fun here and there, but I'm going to focus on the events that I'm substantially faster at, like Pyraminx, which I'm solving now, and can get better at within like the 2 weeks that I have before the next event. One of the things that you might see here is that the Gone timer, I was having trouble with it stopping the times for some reason. I think part of it is my hands were a little bit clammy due to this. It's a little warm now, and so we had the AC running near me, and my hands are just a little cold, a little clammy, and so slapping them down wasn't always working. I don't know if part of that was that it was on a mat versus on the actual desk. So I'll probably have to do some trial and error before the next event, because I do enjoy that it saves the last 5 times for you, and you can see your average just right on the device. It's a little less necessary for the actual day of events because you're putting your times in solve by solve, and the Queuing at Home interface shows you those averages and best times, etc. So if I keep having problems with it like that, I may contact Gone and see if there's a solution or if they can do a replacement or something. But otherwise, I've still really liked this. And, again, I haven't solved Pyraminx a ton, and so most of my times are a little higher than I would like, but I've got some time before the next event. So the events that I really need to work on are Skewb, Clock, and Pyraminx, and I will probably abandon 4x4 and Megaminx, at least for this next event. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications whenever I post new content. Have a great day, happy cubing, and see you next time. Bye!